Right then guys, welcome back to another Colin's Performance Corner, and a bit of a weird one today. So we've got a bit of a balance of power and performance and a bit of balance of practicality today. Today we're going to review the absolutely fantastic SQ7. Now this is the absolutely newest model in the range, so this is the black edition with the Tech Pack Pro. So the spec of it is just under the Vorsprung, but this looks absolutely fantastic. It's got the 22-inch wheels, it's got the pan roof, the interior is absolutely gorgeous. It's finished like the Audi A8 inside, so really great quality. Plus, it's a 7-seater, so you can get the kids, the dog, the pram, everything in the back of this thing, and it's got 500 brake horsepower, so it absolutely shifts this thing. So yeah, really excited to tell you about this car today. Really is lovely. So let's start off by telling you, why would you buy one of these things? Why would you not just buy a normal Q7 and then have a, you know, a sports car for the weekend, you know, when you've not got the kids with you? Because nowadays, the kind of modern families, you know, a lot of people work from home now. So, you know, if you've got somebody out that's working, you know, maybe one of the, you know, the other parents work from home. So that not a lot of families are needing 2 cars, 3 cars nowadays, you know, it's really not needed. So there's a lot of people, and I'm noticing this when people are coming in at the dealership. People are coming in, they're trying to downsize to one car, but at the same time, you know, they maybe want a balance of both. And this is what this SQ7 can offer you. It can offer you the practicality of the normal Q7, but this thing has the performance, you know, of, you know, this will match most fast things on the road. I mean, under the bonnet of this thing is the same 4-litre V8 petrol twin turbo that you find in the RS6 and RS7. So, you know, this thing is effectively, you know, a more practical, again, and I don't know if you can even say that, a more practical, again, you know, RS6. So yeah, this thing is definitely on the cards for a lot of people who want to move down to one car but want the mix of everything. You know, this really is the sweet spot. But what's the real-time performance actually like in this car? You know, there's a lot of big cars have loads of power, but they still didn't feel fast, you know. You jump in them, they just feel, you know, they eventually get there, but they're really slow and everything off the mark. This thing, isn't it? This thing is absolutely mental off the mark. You know, this thing does 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. You know, and for something that weighs as much as this, you know, this is a 2-ton car, you know, 2-ton plus car, you know, this thing is absolutely fantastic. You know, I'll give you a wee bit of demonstration coming off, you know, sort of junction, just a bit of acceleration test. But yeah, no, this thing really does haul ass when you need it to. So let's just give this thing a wee tickle, shall we? Yeah, that sounds brilliant. You know, nothing beats the sound of a proper V8, you know. And you know, there's a lot of people that have never experienced a V8 that'll say, oh, it's just an engine, but no, if you've driven lots of things, this, yeah, that sounds pretty beefy, you know. It's, you wouldn't expect a sound like this coming out of a car like this. Maybe if you lived in America where everything's got a V in it, doesn't matter what you're driving, you know, but in the UK, certainly this car with a V8 in it, you know, big practical car, you know, I can see where the fascination with the Yankees are when they go for big engines in their family cars. So what's it actually feel like on the road in terms of the handling and the suspension? Now, the Q7s obviously come with air suspension, and this one is no different. So this one has the air suspension on it, so you can, depending on what drive mode you're in, you can adjust the height. Obviously dynamic at its lowest setting, and then off-road mode, or, you know, sort of kind of auto, you can raise it right up to its highest level. You know, that combined with the you know, the big 22-inch wide wheels on it, it's actually surprisingly stable for a big car. You know, when you've got this in dynamic mode in its lowest setting, you know, that is, you can actually handle round the corners. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be as agile as an RS6 or anything like that, but I tell you what, you know, it feels pretty good. You know, the only downside I would give on the handling is the steering feels a bit numb. But I think that's the same in most modern cars nowadays with electric power steering systems. You know, you don't get the proper feeling. You just feel it's a bit floaty when you're kind of doing a bit of speed round a corner. You know, that's my own personal opinion. You know, I'm sure other reviewers will probably tell you a similar story, however, but you know, that's just natural physics, to be honest. You know, it's going to be a bit wallowy because the weight, you know, the centre of gravity is a bit higher, but you know, I'm pretty impressed. You know, it handles pretty well for a big tank. So back to the engine. So like I mentioned earlier, it's a 4-litre engine, twin turbo, 500 brake horsepower. The car itself runs through the same 8-speed automatic ZF transmission that you get in pretty much all RS and S models. So 8-speed proper automatic torque converter. This is the proper mechanical quattro system as well, so none of the S-tronic with the clutch packs at the back, you know, the Haldex systems. This is proper quattro, and you can feel that when you put your foot down, the car has it feels like infinite grip. You know, you don't feel it sliding at all under acceleration or anything like that. This thing is the sweet spot of power. You know, I think with the RS6 sometimes, you know, on a wet day, if you put the foot down for a sort of slow speed, you know, you can feel the traction control even kicking in slightly with the 4-wheel drive. But this, I think with the 500 horsepower and the, you know, the nearly 600 foot-pound of torque, this is the sweet spot. You know, I think it's just heavy enough to put that power down perfectly. You know, I've tried and I can't get this thing to spin its wheels. You know, it really does just grip and go, and I think that's, you know, testament to its low 0 to 60 time for such a big car. You know, it's got so much grip over the axles that it really does shift. So what's the interior like as well? So as I said earlier on at the start of the video, the interior in this thing is fantastic. This is really top-notch Audi interior. Everything feels great quality. You know, it doesn't matter where you touch, everything's really nice. You know, along the tops of the doors here, the steering wheel feels fantastic, the top of the dash is lovely. I love the sort of kind of gloss black centre console that kind of blends into the MMI screen and everything here as well. Again, it's got the touch screen for all your air controls and your heated seats and everything like that, like you get in an A6 or RS6. I'm not the biggest fan of the sort of kind of haptic touch feedback. I prefer a button, but I think it just, you couldn't put buttons in this centre console because it looks so sleek with the gloss black plastics, the piano black and everything like that. Nice big armrest. You've got wireless charge pad underneath. You've got SD card slots. You've got 2 USB connections for your phones. The car's obviously got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, heated seats. The only thing I don't like about this is it has too many assistance systems on it. You know, you jump into this car and you spend about, you know, a minute turning off all the systems that you can't be bothered with. You know, lane departure warning, really annoying. Pre-collision assist with distance warning, really annoying. Speed warning, really annoying. You know, so you need to turn off all that stuff, you know. I mean, now there will be people that like it, you know, that like to drive under the speed limit and not go over it, but, you know, if you do creep over it, it beeps at you. You probably heard that a couple of times in the video, just some weird beeping. You know, I had to go and turn it off because I forgot to. But yeah, you know, some of the assistances could be quite annoying. Because it's got the Tech Pack Pro, it's got the interior ambient lighting pack, it's got the lovely massive big panoramic roof, and obviously some of the assistance systems were part of that Tech Pack Pro system as well. But you know, it really is a nice place to be inside this. It's so spacious. It's got the lovely Valcona leather cross-stitch seats and everything in it as well. The Super Sports, of course, as well, so they're really comfortable. You know, you can get these adjusted to exactly to suit you. You know, I've never jumped in an SQ7 or a Q7 and not be able to get comfy. It really is a great place to be. To the back, for obviously the families, the car does have 3 independent rear seats, which are all ISOFIX. So very handy if you have a very young family and you still need the ISOFIX connections. But the seats do move all independent of each other. They can all be folded flat as well, so you can fold them individually. So a lot of families, what they'll do is they'll fold the middle seat down and have it as a big 6-seater and use the 2 seats in the back. But obviously, if you maybe just have the 3 kids, then you can put them all in the middle row, and you've got that massive boot there. You know, you can pretty much take anything you warm with you. It's one of the biggest boots that you'll see in a car. You know, you can get absolutely everything. I can't mind the exact literage, but no, that matters because we're not filling it with water. But like I say, it's a really, really practical car, and this is what I was kind of saying, you know, for the performance that this thing has with the practicality, you know, there's nothing else that you can buy. You know, you could go, well, you can get a Range Rover Sport with 7 seats, and you know, that's fine if you want to break down at the side of the road every 10 minutes, you know, but if you want something reliable, you know, you go stick with the Germans. So let's move on to costings now. Now, obviously, quite importantly now, I get it, right? This car isn't a cheap car, you know, I'm saying going, yeah, go down to one car. You know, this car, an SQ7 is still the gutsy, you know, 80 to 100 grand, you know, for this particular model, it was, you know, list price of this was, you know, 95,000 pounds, you know, so it's not a cheap car, but you do get a lot of car for the money. They hold their money, you know, fairly well. You know, they're not the greatest, they're not A8 levels of depreciation, of course, but, you know, these do hold their money really, really well. You need a bit of a wallet to run this thing. I mean, I've been driving this for a bit now, and I've been averaging 19 miles to the gallon, which you're going to expect. You know, it's a V8 twin turbo petrol with 500 horsepower. It's not going to do 40 miles to the gallon, you know, it's just not, you know. So, you know, you're going to be expecting to put, you know, 100 to 120 quid a week minimum into this car in fuel, depending on how many miles you're doing, of course. But you know, most people that'll probably buy one of these will be, you know, just nipping about the town in one, taking the kids to school, you know, doing the normal day-to-day journeys. So, you know, you're probably going to be about that in fuel. Insurance, again, insurance costs are going to be a bit greater on this thing. You know, it's a highly valuable vehicle, especially if you live down south in the cities. You know, you're going to need trackers and ghost alarms and everything on these things just to even get insurance. You know, and they're not going to be cheap because obviously they are very highly desirable stolen cars. But you know, you're going to expect in this buying one of these, you know, it's not going to be the cheapest thing to run, but they really are. You know, it's worth it when you're behind the wheel. You know, the sound of that V8, it puts a smile on your face, and I'm sure it'll put a smile on the kid's face as well when you're taking it out for a wee Sunday drive. As usual with the S cars though, it doesn't really look much different from a normal Q7 Black Edition. You know, if you were looking at this thing dead on, the only really difference at the front is the SQ7 badge. And now this one's got the facelifted front grille and everything on it as well, so it's got the big chunky bits in the grille for the adaptive cruise control. This one particularly doesn't have it because it's not been spec'd with the Tour Pack, but you know, it does look like it's a Vorsprung. The only thing it's really missing from the Vorsprung is your driver assistance pack and your city assist pack, so you know, there's not a lot of difference. On the outside looks fantastic, especially with the big 22-inch wheels. Really sets the car apart, and I think in this particular model, in the Mythos Black, with all the black styling and everything on it being the Black Edition, it just looks pimp. That's the word I would use. It looks pimp. It's got the black badging and everything on it as well. The only thing that I dislike about it is the fake exhaust at the back. It's got a V8, just put real exhaust on it. You know, one of the things that, you know, I'm hoping is going to be different, I've noticed we just got a brand new facelifted SQ8 model into the showroom, and it's got real exhaust on it. It has 4 real tailpipes. They've done away with the fakies, so yeah, no, I wish they would do this on this, because it does spoil a bit at the look, you know, at the back with the fake exhaust, but you know, it does look good. You know, it's still a great looking car. It does look the business. So back to the drivability of the car. So I'm hopefully going to get a wee bit of straight road here where I can try and kind of overtake this slow car in front of us here. You know, this thing with this V8, this is an overtaking machine. I think once you're up to speed in this thing, it's even more impressive than from a standstill. You know, it's got so much torque. Now I've just popped the gearbox in up here in the road just to get past this thing. And you know, it's not quite as impressive as the electric cars. The e-tron GT is still my absolute favourite when it comes to getting out and overtaking something and getting back in again. You know, but I'm just going to show you here. So there's a wee gap in the traffic coming up here, so I'm just going to drop a gear and get past this thing. Oh, just so effortless, you know, absolutely fantastic. You know, it just, you're in and you're out, you know. It's just great for these back roads, and you know, that's one of the reasons why you have big engines. A lot of people saying, oh, you don't need 500 horsepower, you can't use it. You can use it, absolutely can. You know, you can use it in these scenarios here. You know, it's basically why you've got it there. That torque for overtaking, especially up here in Scotland, where you've got, you know, all these back roads and everything. Let's just get past this tractor cutting his hedge. You know, so when you get on these back roads, it really is, you know, that power does really come in handy, and it's one of the things I miss going to my daily A3 now. You know, it's something I miss for the S4. You know, I didn't feel confident overtaking on this road as much as I did on the S4 or something like this, you know, so it really does matter, that extra torque and power. So what's the technology like on this car? So I kind of mentioned a wee bits and bobs when I was going through the interior. So again, with the Tech Pack Pro, you get the head-up display, which I think is great. You know, you don't need to keep looking down at your dash all the time. You've got your speed, your traffic signs, your nav directions and everything all in front of you in the heads-up display. Of course, it's got Audi's matrix LED headlamps with laser light, so similar to the RS6 and 7, so it protects your full beam twice the distance with the laser light technology. It's not quite got the digital technology which is coming out on the Q8 e-trons and stuff now in the Audi A8s. It's not quite as fancy as that yet, where it can kind of play games in the headlights, but you know, this is one of the better technologies with the matrix with the laser light and everything in it as well. Again, it's got all Audi's sort of usual MMI goodies and everything all in it as well. Audi's fantastic Virtual Cockpit Plus, which has got the wider screen and everything all on it, so it does really look the business. Nice big widescreen, crystal clear, high definition display and everything on it. You know, you can customise the you know, to have the different displays and dials and everything all like that in it as well, so really is fantastic. You know, it just is a lovely place to be, as well as obviously all the assistance systems. So you know, it's got absolutely everything you need in it. You know, there's probably nothing that this car doesn't have, apart from maybe some people like adaptive cruise control, is maybe the only thing that this car's missing, but it really does have everything you need in it. So what's my overall review on this SQ7? Is it recommended to buy one of these things? Absolutely is. You know, if you sort of kind of have got the money and can afford to buy something like this, you know, and you're not too fussed about having two cars in the family, definitely worth downsizing to one of these. Well, not downsizing, you're upsizing to one of these, I'm more likely, but you know what I mean is you're going for two cars to one. This has got everything in one. This has got the practicality. You can take this out and have a bit of fun with it. You know, it's got a mix of style, it's nice quality. You know, you're going to have this car for years. This is not the type of car that you would have and you trade it in after a year. You know, this is, honestly, you would be happy with this car for 4 or 5 years. You know, and we tend to find that with SQ7s. That's why we don't see them in a lot traded in, is because families keep these things a long time, because what else could you go for apart from another one of these? You know, or, you know, if you wanted to change brands, what else have you got? A Land Rover? No. You know, you're not going to go with one of them. You know, you're going to stick with this. You know, yeah, the only other one that I could say would come in comparable is an XC90, but an XC90 doesn't have the power this thing does. You know, it's, you know, XC90 is nice. It's not got the build quality of this either. You know, this is, you know, the one to go for. This is, if you're looking for an all-rounder, this is the car. So yeah, that would be my opinion on that, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as ever, if you like my content, then please subscribe to the channel. That would be very much appreciated, and like the video as well. I'll try and get a wee bit more of these out. I'm trying to sort of kind of get as much of these out as more frequently as possible. I still have my Q8 video to come out as well. I looked back at the footage and that, and I wasn't happy with some of it. It was just a bit grainy and noisy, so I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to do it sort of more sort of kind of an all-round video on the Q4 and the Q8 e-trons, so keep a look out for that. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on the next one.